policing. And you know what's bullshit? When a candidate that hates black people, poor people, Muslims, is leading in the polls to become the most powerful man on earth. And by the way, he also speaks like this.
I beat China all the time. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. We have losers. We have losers. I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. I'm really rich. We will have so much winning if I get elected that you may get bored with winning. Believe me.
That's a great thing about America. You know, people get on his case because he's unqualified and he has no experience in politics, but that's what makes this country what it is. Somebody who has absolutely no credentials or qualifications can be the president of the United States. The doctor who worked inside my ear was unqualified. I'm fine.
That is some bullshit right there. So I am standing outside of a Trump rally where I'm going to talk to some of his supporters to find out if they're really as crazy as the rest of the world thinks.
When he goes, China, that sticks in my ear for a long time after that. That really resonates. It's China.
China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China.
Are you listening? Damn.
To dismiss Donald Trump supporters as simply mindless hacks is easy.
Where officially should we bomb ISIS?
Probably like Israel area, but not necessarily there, but around the area.
I think he's going to help with the ISIS.
What's he going to do with the ISIS?
He can't tell us right now.
If he tells everybody, then the next thing you know, somebody else is going to copy what he says.
But this takes away from the fact that there are a number of grievances, some very real and others imagined, that explain the rise of Trump.
I'm hoping he can bring things back to the way they were and make us prosperous again.
So as much as Republican leaders and the media talk about Trump as if he's emerged out of a vacuum, it's actually the opposite, because Trump is not really the problem. He's merely a symptom of a greater malaise in America that has always been there and that Trump has simply tapped into.
Passionate about this man named Donald Trump. It's only because they haven't been able to express their opinion over a very long period of time.
So, what's behind Trump's rise? Basically, white working class Americans are pissed. Stagnant wages have impacted mostly older white men in the country, many whose jobs are being outsourced and threatened by technology. Their fate is being dictated by a free market neoliberal system that sees them as disposable and whose forces they have no control over.
That's the vocal response today as more than 1,000 Indianapolis workers learned their jobs were going away, being moved to Mexico.
And what they see around them is a country that they no longer recognize or understand.
Kids on a school bus, you expect safety, but in Obama's America, the white kids now get beat up with the black kids cheering, yeah, right on, right on, right on.
All around them, they complain, are freeloading criminal migrants who are out to get their jobs, commit crimes, and usurp their culture.
Only 10% of the people coming across the border are picking lettuce, working in the agriculture field. Most of them are coming across because they want the free handouts.
We don't owe none of them nothing. We don't owe those illegal immigrants nothing.
Above them, they see an incapable, self-serving Washington elite that doesn't represent the people and are never held accountable for their perennial screw-ups.
I haven't seen another politician do anything in my 57 years. I've been paying attention to politics my whole life, but I've always kept my mouth shut. I've always kept to myself. But I know if we don't get it right this time, we are all done. Washington is bought and paid for.
Then comes terrorism, which just adds fuel to the fire and instills more fear of foreigners and immigrants that validates their pre-existing prejudices.
Islam wants to kill people. They want to kill people.
We do have an issue with Islam, and President Obama won't say it. It's not a religion of peace.
So, who better to meet these rising threats than an authoritarian strongman like Donald Trump?
Trump is telling them the country's in crisis, and people flock to a strong leader when they think the country's in crisis. He stands up there, he gives the image he's not going to put up with any crap.
He's a man that walks the walk and talks the talk.
I'll bring back our jobs from China, from Mexico, from Japan, from so many places. I'll bring back our jobs and I'll bring back our money.
And beautiful
Where are the shirts made? Bangladesh.
Well, it's good. We employ people in Bangladesh.
Ties? Where are the ties
They
made?
have to work
These are
too.
beautiful ties.
They are great ties.
The ties are made in where? China? Ties are made in China.
Here's the thing. Support for Trump isn't necessarily based on IQ level, or even age, income, or gender. He crosses all those lines. What it's based on, researchers have found, is authoritarianism. Voters with an authoritarian bent are much more driven by fear and suspicion of outsiders than other voters.
They don't want to become Americans. They want to come here and blow up America and kill us.
They then seek out strongmen who claim they will preserve the status quo and protect them from an increasingly alien society and its invaders.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism. He'll quickly cut the head off ISIS, and he'll stop illegal immigration by building a wall on our southern border that Mexico will pay for.
We will make America great again.
What he's saying is correct. It's not a racist thing. It's not a bigotry thing. It's just the facts. So, and a lot of times people don't like to hear the truth.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We really need to protect our country. If it takes a temporary ban on Muslims coming into our country before we can figure out what's going on. I mean, there's so many that are slipping in right now. If that's what it takes to stop it, then that's what it takes.
It's the politics of fear at its best.
Look, what's the motivation? The motivation's pretty obvious, right? You're unhappy. There's a reason why you're unhappy. It's because of the other, right?
A lot of the immigrants just don't know our culture, don't know our way, and they just want to take it from us.
It's really just a symptom of a larger economic and social problem in the United States, where it seems to a number of people that they've lost their country. They want to take the country back to where it was when they think it was, when white people and generally white Christian men ran everything in the country, and the people who were in any other group other than white Christian men didn't run anything in the country.
Because people that are coming into this country, they're not assimilating. We're losing our culture, and once we lose our culture, we're all done as a country.
Trump understands that elections are rarely about policy. They're about identity.
We're bringing them back where they came from. We either have a country, folks, or we don't. Remember this. We either have a country or we don't.
In exploiting this paranoia, Trump, inadvertently aided by a toxic right-wing media.
We ought to be very selective in allowing any Muslim or future Chinese students in here.
It doesn't take a lot for Mohammed to transform himself into Miguel.
He looked at the Quran and said, grab a meat cleaver and hack somebody up. Fantastic.
You can't be here if you're here illegally. You're not supposed to be here.
Trump has embraced a disillusioned, fearful, and disenfranchised population that is looking to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Everything that I'm doing is for America. It's saving America. Truly.
This is a movement. This is no longer we're playing games. This is a movement.
I wonder myself if Trump does have some success in these campaigns, what's going to happen to all the people who are supporting these exclusionary, xenophobic ideas of his if Trump does lose the presidency.
In other words, all the xenophobia, the deep economic angst, and blatant racism we're seeing today has been there all along, simmering, waiting for a demagogue to viciously tap into it and bring out the worst in all of us, both friends and foes alike. Trump is simply the worst possible manifestation of this. He's the result, not the cause.
We are going to make America great again. We are going to make America greater, greater, greater than it's ever been before.
It's getting people re-energized and believing in the core beliefs of this country, and it's pretty exciting to watch happen.
Mr. Trump cares, and that's why I'm supporting Mr. Trump.
And that, my friends, is some bullshit.
All right,
everyone, I'm Elise. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, share it with your friends, like the Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube. Shameless self-promotion time, you know how it goes. And I'll see you next time. Beijo.